Om Shanti. Good morning, everyone. May I request the team to please screen the Murli? It's very, very beautiful Murli. And perhaps it's a reminder that when we started this journey, what promise did we make to Baba? Anyone remembers your promise to Baba? Or even later, in passing years, as your faith became firm, as you decided that this is the journey you want to take, maybe you can put in the chat box, what is the promise that you made to Baba? And Baba is especially also remembering in this Murli the children who have come towards the end. They say last. And so how can they make fast and fast efforts, how they can make efforts at a faster speed, or how can they become the practical proof or practical form of being those who came last but yet are able to go fast. So Baba is remembering them and also sharing some very beautiful yuktis, if you will, to how to bring success in God's seva that we do, both at the physical and the subtle level. So let's see in Baba's words. This is the Murli of 28th of April, 1974. And the essence of the Murli is success in godly service with physical and subtle facilities. Which gathering would you call today's gathering? What is the speciality of the responsibility of this gathering? So whatever responsibility you have, it's a very special responsibility. What is that? Have you made all of these things clear in your gathering? Have you been given a responsibility, or have you taken it? Have you taken the responsibility of making your stage elevated and strong, or have you not taken it? So, sometimes we say, yes, we have the responsibility to serve Bharat or to serve on the task of transformation. But Baba is saying the first responsibility of making your stage elevated and strong. Or have you not taken it? Do you think that you have taken the responsibility for creating a memorandum, or that you have been given the responsibility for creating your stage? Today, according to the time, what is the main responsibility? Baba says there are many facilities and forms for godly service, and they will increase even more in the future. But what is the form and means of going last so fast? You have got many good ideas. You will put up boards, make films, create memorandums. You will go to the crematoriums and the villages. Of course, you will do all of those things, but what board will you put up on your forehead? What board are you going to put up on your forehead? What is the memorandum, and how will you give it through your lips and through your form to all the souls of the world? So what is the message that you will share through your lips and through your form, through your divine and spiritual activities, through your pure thoughts, through the image of your cheerful face? What alokik film will you show? So if they see at you, right, if they see at your face, or if they catch the vibrations of your thoughts, then what are you going to show them? Will you only make one film, or will all the Brahma Kumaris who are in the gathering emerge from Madhuban, the land of blessings, as living and alokik films? If you're able to show people so many films everywhere, then is this not the service of coming last and going fast? If through your being embodiments of all experiences, you are able to give people in the villages and everywhere else the experience of constant peace and bliss in a second, then is this not the service of less expenditure and greater glorification? Kam kharch bala nashin. So less expenditure, greater glorification through my face, through my thoughts, through my words, through my deeds, right? Baba is saying this is the greatest duty and responsibility in every thought, word, and deed of the worthy children, the cooperative children, and the serviceable children. So, what titles Baba is giving us? He's calling us worthy, cooperative, and serviceable children. And these children have this duty, this great responsibility of doing service with less expenditure and greater glorification. The gathering of you Pandavas and the gathering of the instrument souls is not just for collecting physical means for service or to implement those. Together with the physical means, there has to be the subtle method. And together with the plans, let there be remembrance and a plain stage. You have to move forward considering these things to be your responsibility, right? So one is to be living film or living board, if you will. The second responsibility is to have remembrance and also have plain intellect or plain stage today, Baba is saying, right? Even though I'm making plans and creating service projects, whatever, but I have to have plain stage. Baba says you have to move forward considering these things to be your responsibility. That is, you have to perform actions with this awareness. If all those sitting here were to take up the responsibility of all these aspects while considering themselves to be the instruments, then would service at a fast speed not be visible? Baba says, just as the teachers and the main souls are responsible at the godly centers, in the same way, do you consider yourselves to be responsible and instruments to this extent? So even though you're not staying at the center, right? You are not a teacher, meaning you're not giving course or whatever, but wherever you are, whether you are at home, whether you are in your household, Baba is saying, do you also consider this to be your responsibility? Now, just as it is the responsibility of the teachers to follow every aspect of the codes of conduct and to inspire others to follow them, so too, do you consider yourselves to be instruments who stay within every aspect of the codes of conduct? Or do you think that this is just the task of the teachers and Didi and Dadi? Even before the teachers, Baba says, this is your responsibility. This is the responsibility of you Pandavas who are instruments, because you have challenged the world. And you said that whilst living in the household, how will you live? You are seeing the screen. How will you live? You will live like a lotus, Baba is saying. This is the challenge that the householders have put in front of the world, right? Baba says, Pandavas, who are the instruments, because you have challenged the world and said that whilst living in households, you will live like a lotus, loving and detached. Even though the lotus is in the dirt, that is, whilst you Brahmins are in contact with Iron Aged connections, you and not the teachers are the instruments to put this challenge into practical form. Because actually, we teachers don't come into connections with the Lokik world so much, right? Unless they come to the center or we go somewhere for a program. But the people who stay in household, they're constantly in connection with them, right? And so that's why this is the challenge that you all have to fulfill, Baba is saying. This is the part of the Pandavas, that is, of those who are living in households. Now, Baba says, even before others reach the teachers, you are samples for everyone. Only after seeing a sample does someone have the courage and enthusiasm to do the business. Similarly, do you move along while considering your part to be of instruments in this way? And so one Baba is asking, are you following all the codes of conduct, just like the teachers do, or just like those who stay at the center do? And second, are you becoming samples for the world where You are living your life like a lotus flower. Yeah. So then Baba says, many come to the teachers, and after listening to this, they ask if there is a practical form they can see. Whether it is possible or not, they ask for an example of this. So Baba is asking, who is more responsible than the teachers? The codes of conduct, maryadas for the teachers are their own, but your codes of conduct are no less than those of the teachers. Right? So I also have to follow all the codes of conduct. Do the maryadas you have been given for your awareness, for your attitude, vision, and actions from Amritvela onwards remain clearly and constantly in the intellects of all of you. There is a Murli actually, right, where Baba has given us the understanding of what awareness I should be getting up with, what should be my attitude, what should be my vision, right? So from Amritvela till the night time. Do you put every thought into practical form according to the maryadas? This is the practical form of the last and so fast means for service. So how I can do? By following the codes of conduct from the beginning to the end in the day, right? What is the first challenge which no one else has yet been able to issue, nor would be able to do so? When we come to Baba, the first challenge is the challenge of purity. Even whilst you are interacting with connections and relationships, there should be no weakness, even in thought, in this first challenge. So no matter what, with which connection, which relationship, but I have to have purity in my thoughts, in my vision, right? So Baba is saying no weakness, even in thought, in this first challenge. What is the first promise? Anybody typed? Some people have. Okay. I shall always be with you and belong to you. Girija Ben is saying, very beautiful. Very nice. That's what Baba is remembering. So the first promise, what is the first promise? I will break all connections with others and have all relationships with you alone. I will eat with you. I will sit with you. And mine is one Baba and none other. How many of you have made this promise to Baba? Do you want to raise your hand? How many of you have made this promise to Baba that Baba, I will break all connections with others and have all relationships with you alone. I will eat with you. I will sit with you. Mine is one God and none other. It is the same thing Baba is saying, right? Meaning this is the first challenge, no? The first promise and the first challenge are connected to each other. First challenge is the challenge of purity. Second challenge is mine is one alone, which is also purity, no? It's the pure relationship with one. There is no disloyalty or there is no adulteration in my remembrance, which is purity, right? So Baba is saying the first promise and the first challenge are connected to each other. How much attention do you pay to both of these? You do not have any tension in this first aspect, do you? So anyone? No, Baba is saying you don't have any tension about this aspect of purity. Baba is saying, you are not Maharathis in this battle, are you? To be a Maharathi does not mean to stay in tension, but to pay constant attention. The first influence is of this special aspect because this is the one thing that will make the impossible possible. Do you have strong points for creating the first impression? Or Baba is asking, are you even now compelled by your own sanskars? Because the old sanskars are the sanskars of impurity, right? And so, and anyways, because of 63 births of old sanskars, impurity attracts us actually, at least in the beginning. And so Baba is saying, are you still compelled by your own sanskars, the old sanskars basically? And Baba says it is not possible for those who are compelled by their own sanskars to free others from their compulsions for all time. It's like if I am compelled by the sanskar of dishonesty, how can I make others walk on the path of honesty, right? Something like that, Baba is saying. They can create a temporary influence, but whilst walking and moving along, even those souls are compelled by their sanskars. This is why the first responsibility of this gathering is that all types of compulsions have to be finished. First responsibility is to finish all types of compulsions. So Murli Baba said, first is to become living film or living board. Then he said, second is to have remembrance and have plain stage. But then when Baba is talking to householders, he's saying that the first responsibility is to become free from all types of compulsions. First of the self and then those of the world. Your responsibility is to become in charge of this first challenge. Babdada and all the souls of the world wish to see this newness and speciality. As you progress further, the more you increase service through the facilities for service and become well known on the field, so all types of people will accordingly challenge you to check everything of yours with their mantras and their own methods. In order to check your thoughts and deeds, there will be CID officers after you. They will not accept you easily, just like that. Intellectual people are not ready to accept anything without proof or examples, right? If you say to them anything, they want a proof. And it will happen, Baba is saying. Together with this challenge and the physical facilities for service, are you making such preparations? They will give you an examination of your mind's control. It is not that they will check you when you sit for yoga, but they will check your mind's control and your stage during particular situations. And we know, no, Dadi was checked, right? Dadi Janki gave that test, if you will. The CID officers of Maya are no less. It is the responsibility of, so one is physical realm. In the physical realm, physical people will test you. But in this context, Baba is talking about Maya. When you tell, I am having a very stable mind, then Maya will test you, Baba is saying. So she becomes the CID officer. It is the responsibility of this group to make such preparations and to become embodiments and come forward as examples. This is why the memorial of the Pandavas have been shown as elevated. The memorial is the practical proof of their elevated stage. When you come here next time, come having passed with honors. In this situation, for only then would you be called the Pandava army. Now you are being given one topic on the one subject. If you make this stage constant and stable, you will be given thanks. It is easy, is it not? One topic on one subject, right? So it's the topic of showing that I am becoming completely free from these compulsive disorders, right? Sanskars which are compelling me. And this is the subject of dharna, if you will, right? So one topic on one subject. Now, Baba is asking, for how long have you been working hard? Since your birth. Would something that you try to do from birth seem to be difficult? You tell others, is it difficult to attain your birthright? In the same way, is it difficult for you Brahmins to do that which is your first religion and first action of Brahmins? You have died alive, have you not? Or after dying, do you come back to life? Baba is saying you have to die to the Shudra life and live as a Brahmin. This is the alaukic life of Brahmins. Do Brahmins find anything to be difficult? What is the basis of the donation of life in Brahmin life? Donation of life means jiyadan, right? What is that life-giving herb for the Brahmins? Right? We all know the answer, right? It is the Murli. So the basis of your study is also the Murli. So you put the basis of the donation of life into the practical form very well, not as a discipline, but you accept it in a very loving way, considering it to be the basis of the donation of life. So, not because I have to go to the Murli, but I want to because I love Murli. I want to practically imbibe it. So, Baba is saying, you do it lovingly. To the extent that you have love for the donation of life, to that extent you would have just as much love for the bestower of life. Right? Baba says, no, if you have love for the Murli, that means you have love for the Murlidhar. So if you have love for the donation of life, then you have love for the bestower of that life. Those who are such loving souls will also be able to make other souls constantly loving and free from obstacles. Now, consider yourselves to be images of support and become examples in front of everyone. You too have this responsibility, Baba says. There is a very little heart-to-heart conversations and discussions about the Murli from the Pandavas. Discussions about the Murli are very much heard from the gopis. Why? Baba says to have discussions about knowledge among yourselves is the duty of you Brahmins. Whatever someone has an interest in, there can never be a shortage of time for that. So you cannot say that there is no time, right? For Murli, can you say that? Baba is saying, so pay attention to these two things. What are the two things? One is purity, and the other is giving importance to the donation of life. One is purity, and the second is Murli. There is no need for separate time for subtle facilities. People of the world have separated family life from the ashram life, whereas you bring both together and make it one. Right? So always there has to be that integration of Baba's teachings into my practical life. Lokik, alokik becomes same. Whereas in the world, grahast is different, ashram is different. So Baba is saying, you have to bring those two together, make it one. Generally, you separate the physical and the subtle facilities, and this is why you do not receive the practical and the visible fruit. When both come together, you will see the practical and instant fruit. Together with words, you also have to serve through your mind. You also need to serve through your mind as well as through your actions, because Baba says these are the final moments. Whatever elevated weapons you have will be used in the final moments. If you do all of this later, then the time will have gone by. Only then you use all the 8 powers for service at the same time will the 8 special deities be revealed. That is, the form of establishment will be clearly visible. It should not be that you carry out the physical first and then do the subtle. That means you do physical work and later you do mansa seva or later you do some other seva. So Baba is saying no. It should not be that you carry out the physical first and then do the subtle. No, you cannot have success without doing both together. You cannot have success without doing both together. So, short Murli, right? Sweet, simple. Did I read too fast? Baba is saying that very, very easy Murli, but very profound, where he's talking about these two subjects and how we can bring about change in our practices. Acha, Om Shanti. Maybe we take a moment of silence, a minute or so, and then we will share a few points. Okay, Om Shanti. Anyone would like to share?
Om Shanti, wonderful Murli. And Baba in this Murli has given us the emphasis on both the practical as well as the subtle manner that we should serve the world. And in the practical, of course, the actions are there which are visible to everyone. But deep inside, in the subtle stage, how should be the stage? It should be like a lotus, loving and detached, and the plain stage where there are no complaints with anyone, there are no questions, without complaints is the plain stage. And the subtle dimensions, they play a very important role. The subtle dimensions, what Baba gave to us is the awareness, one, second, attitude, third, vision, and the basic fundamental building block is the thoughts. So the thoughts also, they're very important. And deep inside, I am connected with in all relations and all connections with one Baba. And outside, I may be interacting with many roles and many connections, many relationships. But deep inside, I am connected with one and only one, the Supreme Almighty Authority. That is a constant attention which I must pay. So, and Baba spoke also about the Swadharma, which is this is my actual Swadharma. Deep inside, I should be connected in my original, the first religion, that is the first dharana, that I am a soul and the first and direct creation of the Supreme Soul. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you. Anyone else wants to share?
Om Shanti.
Mm-hmm.
Today,
Om
Baba said
Shanti.
there are two things which has to be on which we have to give the attention. One is purity, and the other thing is Murli. So these two things, if we take care of, then we can be said that we are a true Brahmin. And also, Baba said to follow all the codes of conduct. It's not necessary that we are not if we are not living in the center or staying in the center and being. It's not necessary to be a teacher. We should be have our own rules and regulations according to the lifestyle which we have. So we have to follow all those rules and become perfect. Om Shanti.
Very nice. Yeah.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
I liked the first part of the Murli because it was a continuation of what I was churning with yesterday's Murli. Where Baba spoke yesterday about like people are glued to the TV and they get attracted. You also should be like a living, moving TV. People should be attracted towards you. And yesterday's key point, Baba had just given us about the three lights. But today, Baba is giving us, how do I make the film? So Baba is saying, through your divine activities. So how are my activities divine? What spiritual? So the Maryadas is what is very important, following the directions of the Maryadas. Then through pure thoughts and a cheerful face. If I have all these ingredients, I can make a wonderful film on my forehead and also my lips and eyes. Everything would be part of that film to attract the people. So today a kind of extra additional points Baba has added for that service of how do I become a living and alokik film.
Okay, thank you, Girijaben.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yes, brother.
Yeah, Baba said that, the seva has to be through mind as well as our action. So that is one of the weapon, elevated weapon, to be used for the final moment. So without that, success, we cannot have success. You cannot, without doing this together, will not get success towards the end. So this will make us to use that 8 powers at the end. Sorry, only those who use that 8 powers, right? Baba said they will be the special deities.
Right. Baba said, what Baba was trying to say, that sometimes we only focus on the physical service, and then sometimes we only focus on the subtle service. But we have to integrate the two. And only when the two are together, then there can be greater success. Like Baba said, less expenditure and greater glorification. And of
Right.
course, that is the time when all the weapons will be required for you to use. We will showcase them. Okay.
Sister, you just mentioned about 2 things, physical service and subtle service. Yeah, that's what even Baba says. It should both be there. Physical also should be there and subtle. And then he's saying not just plan, but also a plain stage and remembrance. You are there in service in the US for so long. Can you just say, how do you differentiate between this physical service and physical service? Of course, we know this, and subtle service. If you could share your practical thing in it.
How do I differentiate, or how do I integrate?
Yeah, but what is that subtle service? What is that? If you could specify it, then it becomes easy for us to know, oh, okay, this can also be subtle service, because each one of us, we have our
Okay,
own.
I anywhere you are, you can think of this example. Let's say, for example, there is some program happening, and we are on the physical level. We have to make sure that the stage is right, the decoration is done, the serving team is ready, the food is planned, all the items that are we have to do all of this at the physical level. But subtly, the thought that constantly runs said, Baba, may every soul who comes to your home, may they experience a lot of contentment. So this is like a subtle service that I'm doing in that moment. So physically, I might be running around doing whatever, but internally, if I'm creating thoughts which are going to serve and make that service easy and, accomplish that seva with success, then that's where what am I thinking while doing those practical actions? So what are the thoughts that I'm creating? That is like mansa seva I'm doing whilst I am doing the karmana seva. Or if there are people around me who are in the team and we are doing a teamwork, then if we are doing the work, that is one part, which is physical, but then how I am talking to them, what are the choices of words, what is the body language, what is the vibration, what is the attitude, what I am using in that moment, that these are Baba's angels, they have come here to serve for Baba's seva. So if I'm creating very pure, elevated thoughts, then that is subtle service, right? Like Baba said, subtle service is through your mind, through your thoughts, through your vibrations, through your face, through your vision, right? All of this, the awareness, this is subtle service. And physical services, you make projects or you plan something and you create ideas and you do something. But then sometimes when you make a plan also, let's say, for example, I have done all the homework and I've created the plan, I come up with this beautiful idea, and then I have to still become plain intellect. Plain stage really means that whether that idea is accepted or not accepted, it should not disturb me. That is plain intellect, meaning I created the plan with my intellect, but then I surrender that plan to Baba. And if it's in Drama's plan, if it is God's plan, it will be fulfilled. You know, there are three kinds of plans, right? One is my plan, one is God's plan, one is Drama plan. And so sometimes when we make plans, we get attached to those plans. And if it doesn't work accordingly, then my intellect is pulled. And that is what Baba says is not a plain stage. So these are a few examples. I don't know if I answered your question, but maybe others can also, chime in and share. Does that help?
Yeah, because I always feel more than the physical service, because there are so many. Now there are event managers, there are people who take care of the physical service, but they don't have subtle service. But for us Brahmins, when physical service is, it's all planned, everything. Today, as I told you, event management is the order of the day. So, but that subtle service is really missing in those. So that is why I always love the subtle service. So whenever any event, I just sit on, why I'm doing all this? For what is this purpose? Why I'm calling that person and telling him to do this? What is Baba's secret behind it? Like, that is one way also, I think, okay, then let me serve there rather than serving, because there are so many hands here to put the chairs, to put this, there are people waiting. I generally used to think like that is also important. That doesn't mean I just sit down and say, okay, let me do subtle service and no physical. No, that's also part. But when I know I get a chance, I like to come out of that and just think about subtly, can I do something? Because I know that will touch the hearts of the whomever I'm serving through, whether through mind or through means. That's why I just wanted to know your approach.
See, I am living in this center, which is the regional regional center. It's the main center of the USA. So I really don't get time to just sit, maybe my Amrit Velas and my evening half an hour yoga that I do. But and one time I was little disturbed by this when I started to stay at the center, and I asked Moini Didi that, I used to sit for 4 hours. I used to sit for 3 hours of yoga in the whole day, and now I'm not able to. And she said, this is your chance to accumulate drops of yoga wherever you get 2 minutes, whenever you get 3 minutes, whenever you get a minute. Just remember Baba, and that's how you will accumulate even more than you could do in 4 hours. I really liked that point, and I took it to my heart. And I now, whenever I get 1 minute, 2 minutes, like you're saying, you just do it. But you can't just be dependent that, okay, if you are sitting and doing, that's enough. But of course, it depends on your situation. It depends on where you are and how much you can do. So, both are important. However, you have to integrate no matter what, right? Where you are, how you are, you just bring the two together. Like even at home, you must be doing physical work, no? Like you're doing dishes or you are doing your laundry. So that is a physical seva in a way. If you consider your home to be Baba's home, then you are an instrument in Baba's home and you're doing that seva. So that is physical seva. But then what is the consciousness? What is the awareness? What is the thoughts that are going back in your mind? So that will be part of the subtle service then, if that makes sense.
Thank you, sister. We say subtle, but more than physical, subtle has such a deep, deep meaning, and I'm saying deep implications. When you just dive deep into the subtle, I love the one word more than Paramdam. I know Shibaba wouldn't like it, but I love my subtle world. I love to be with my Brahma Baba. I love to go down to my guardian angels and see them. So that subtle is something, it always attracts me. That's why. Thank you, sister. It's nice to hear.
Good. Very good. Okay, shall we end here? Yeah. We can do a little
water meditation.
Yes.
Sister, can you end on God's love? Because I love that. I know you give very good meditation. Baba's Murli is tu pyar ka sagar, thirsty. I would really love a meditation from you to know the love of God. Om Shanti.
Okay, let's try. Om Shanti. As I say Om Shanti, this mantra reminds me that I am peace. And in this state of my original form, the eternal form, where the original religion of the soul is peace, as I become aware of who I am, I become aware that I am child of the Supreme Father. I become aware of the eternal truth that I, the soul, have eternal relationship with Baba. In the whole cycle, one relationship that never changes is the relationship between soul and the Supreme Soul, whether I am aware or not, whether I believe or not. But this is the truth that I belong to one Baba. And it is the great fortune of I, the soul, that I have such a divine intellect that has recognized the Supreme Father, intellect that has accepted Baba as he is and who he is. And so from my heart, as I connect my mind and intellect with one, I know that Baba is mine and I belong to Baba. See yourself in close connection with Baba. And in this moment, it's just the two of us. I, the soul, and Baba, the Supreme Soul. It is in this moment that I realize how much I longed, how much I wandered through 63 births trying to find you. Having come close to you, I open my heart. I allow my heart to become big so that you can be the emperor of this heart. For I only belong to you. Mine is one Baba and none other. Through eternity, this promise will continue to be maintained. And just as your love is unconditional, just as your love is unending, infinite in nature, I emerge the same quality of love for you, my Baba. My love for you has no selfish motive. My love for you is as pure and pristine as is your love for me. I see myself being colored by your company and thereby becoming like you, Master Ocean of Love. Love that is not dependent on external. Love that is unconditional and infinite in nature. Experience this total harmony and unity in this communion, which is possible only when the soul meets the Supreme Soul. filled with God's love. I realize that Baba is also empowering me from deep within, that can help me to bring the transformation that I want to bring. I am willing to fulfill the responsibility towards love. I am willing to walk the steps on the path that you show me. Fill yourself with Baba's love to the extent that you want. And as and when you feel ready, allow yourself to gently return back to the physical world and back to the physical body, the center of the forehead. In here, as I sit in my dignity, I remind myself that I am love. I am the pure vibration of love. And whoever comes in contact and connection with me, I will only share this pure vibration of love, giving them the experience of God's love and being a practical proof, a living board, a real example. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Tina Ben. Thank you, Divine Family. And with
Thank
one
you.
remembrance that Baba gave in today's Murli is listen to Murli and do Murli Manthan as a group. We're doing that. Let's do the Manthan within ourselves on the Murli that we have just read and the Sakar Murli that we'll be reading and listening at 7 a.m. in India. With that homework, have a wonderful day, and we meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.